father shook his head as he leaned against the door jamb of Colby's room. Son, I'm sorry, but belts don't really move, and suspenders don't talk. Colby lay in bed looking up at the ceiling. Dad, the suspenders don't talk, they sing. He said quietly, trying to correct his father. His dad took a deep breath and held, let's try that. That better?
Yeah.
His dad held his breath and let it out slowly. He was tired, so he wanted to make sure he said the thing right. Talk, sing, move, it can all wait. We'll have plenty of times to play imagination games tomorrow, but you should be asleep, and I do not want to come back in here again. I love you, son. Now, turn off the light and go to sleep. Colby reached over and turned off the reading light on his nightstand. His father turned and closed the door, but not all the way like he usually did. Colby listened to his father's footsteps walk down the hall. He expected the light to go off, but it didn't. He knew Dad had left the light on for him. After Colby heard the door to his parents' bedroom close, he waited a few minutes before he sat up in bed and then turned on his reading light. He knew he wasn't alone, and he knew they'd heard every word. Thanks a lot, guys, he said softly. You had your chance. Why didn't you say something? Colby heard the click of metal against the bedpost at the foot of the bed. With grace that would match any snake, Colby's belt lifted its silver head and slid its flat blackness from the bedpost and coiled itself at Colby's feet. You wouldn't understand, Colby's belt said, the silver pin of the belt buckle flicking up and down. Colby looked down at his friend. But Dad loves to make up stories for me. He likes to play make-believe games. I know, I've heard the stories. They're great. But to him, that's all they are, stories. I don't think he's ready for make-believe to be real. We agree, we agree, we agree, we agree, came four perfectly blended voices from under the bed. First in unison, then in 2, 3, and 4-part harmony. Colby hung upside down over the edge of the bed and looked under it. Okay, you guys, what's your excuse? You could have sung something. Out from under the bed crawled the suspenders. They weren't nearly as graceful as the belt because they were hooked together in the middle. They were like a pair of two-headed snakes attached in an X. They were like friends, but they didn't always get along. But if they concentrated, they could work together. They could walk kind of like in crab style, not as nearly as graceful as a snake. Colby grabbed the suspenders and sat up in bed. He put the suspenders down by his feet opposite the belt. 4 little metal heads lifted themselves off the bed on royal blue necks, nodded to the belt, and turned to face Colby. Each clasp of the suspender reminded Colby of the head of a tiny metal T-Rex. The belt looked at Colby. Why did you have to bring those guys up here? What's your problem? What's your problem? What's your problem? What's your problem? Responded the suspenders in perfect 4-part harmony. Colby, you know I hate barbershop quartet music. Belt, Colby said with a smile, you need to loosen up. Ugh, gasped the belt as it rolled its flat head upside down and collapsed on its back. I hate puns. Puns are worse than barbershop music. Way to go, way to go, way to go, Colby. Great joke. The suspenders wove their delightful harmony. I give up, said the belt, acting like some general who had been defeated. I surrender to the suspenders. The belt paused a moment. Sometimes I'd like to belt you guys, but that wouldn't help, so I guess I'll have to get used to you hanging around. The belt lifted its head and began to laugh at its own jokes. Get it? I'm a belt you, hanging around. You guys are suspenders. You know, hanging around, suspenders. The 4 heads of the suspenders looked at each other, then at Colby. That stinks, that stinks, that stinks, that stinks, that stinks. Sang the suspenders, holding out for that last note with a minor dissonant chord. Enough, said Colby. Belt, leave the puns to professionals. They're not safe in the hands of amateurs. With pleasure, said the bowing low. I will leave all the bad jokes to you and my harmonious cousins, the suspenders. Quiet, Colby said in a quick whisper. I think they're up. 6 heads turned to face the closet. Actually, 1 head, 1 buckle, and 4 clasps. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, sang the suspenders. They all heard a sucking sound like air through a straw or several small vacuum cleaners without that electric whirling sound. The folding closet doors began to rattle, and then it slid to the left and the right in accordion style. Out from the closet came 4 pair of Colby's long white athletic socks. They were upside down, the opening of each sock against the carpet, the toe of the socks in the air. They were all filled with air like little vacuum cleaner bags. They moved around the room, bouncing off the walls, the bed, the dresser, and each other. Keep it down, you guys. I do want Dad to know about you, but someday, not tonight. He's already been in here once, and I don't want him to come back again. The socks didn't answer. They never did. They formed a circle in the middle of the room with the toe part of the inflated socks bodies touching in the center and the heels forming the outside of the circle. Colby had seen them do this before. Since they didn't talk, he guessed this was how they communicated. The socks continued to suck air and touch toes. They were planning something. Colby just hoped that it was, whatever it was, it wouldn't be noisy. The socks quivered and shook. They lined up single file facing the bed. They gave a little bow and in formation turned and headed towards the dirty clothes basket in the corner. Oh no, Colby whispered. Not again. He had hoped they'd learn from that what had happened the last time they attacked the dirty clothes basket. The last time the socks came out to play, they'd pushed the hamper over and spread the clothes all over the room. Then they played tag, zooming in and out between the scattered t-shirts, shorts, and socks and underwear. Colby tried to catch them. He chased them around the room, knocked over a chair, slipped on a shirt, and slid head first down between the double doors, and bam! Mom, who was also upstairs, heard the thump as Colby crashed into the back wall of the closet. Colby, what's going on? She shouted as she hurried down the hall to her son's room. The socks heard her coming. They vacuumed their way to the door, and just as Colby's mom touched the doorknob, the socks had lined up against the bottom of the door and began to push, trying to keep it closed. The door opened 2 or 3 inches, then stopped. The socks were pushing so hard that they were half flat against the door. Colby, what are you doing? Let me in. The socks had almost closed the door. Colby, stop it. Mom gave the door one more hard push, and the socks were flattened as the door rolled over them. His mother stepped into the room, expecting to see Colby, and that no one was there. Her face went from angry to confused. Colby? Colby could hear the surprise in Mom's voice. He crawled out of the closet on his hands and knees, an old t-shirt on his head and a pair of shorts on his shoulders. Hi, Mom. Something wrong? What's going... How could you... I don't understand why that... Mom was definitely confused. Mom sometimes had trouble finishing sentences when she was frustrated. Sorry, Mom. It was the socks and... this time it was Colby who couldn't finish his sentence. Mom was the practical one, and she wouldn't believe him anyway. Mom looked at the flattened socks that had been mowed down by the door, then the chaos of clothes and all over the room. Finally, she looked directly at Colby. Didn't say a word. She just crossed her arms. I'm sorry about the noise and the mess. I was playing, and I just got carried away, and I slipped, and I went to the closet, and I'll get everything picked up. Everything will be just fine, Mom. Good. Okay. Well, She was still a little confused. She kicked the socks out of the way and swung the door back and forth as she tried to figure out what had made the door so hard to open. Strange, she whispered to herself as she left. And now, the socks were at it again. But this time it wasn't in the afternoon, but after bedtime. The socks had never gotten up at night before, and he knew he had to act fast. he also knew that this was probably not going to end well. So this is a story still in progress, and there's more still to go. Thank you.